I would say a lot of learning how to trade is really just having the right attitude when you go into it. There are traders who can spend many years learning the wrong things and they just will not make progress because you cannot fill a bucket that's got holes in it. Now, I'm going to share how I go about how I ask questions, how I think about markets, not what you should do, but rather how I actually learned. And the biggest thing that I can recommend, this is something that's just big in me always. I'm curious. I want to know why. I will see something and I don't want to take it at face value. I'll pick at the idea. So let's break down some, I guess, a little story time, right? I didn't know much about trading when I got into it, obviously. So I had to learn from Instagram, YouTube, all this stuff, books. But it took me a minute to find traders because you first get in, you see some sort of ad for whatever it might be, right? But it was my curiosity when I started to follow some of the bigger traders, maybe like Umar Ashraf, guys like that. And I would see them post on their story and I would see a chart and I would screenshot that chart, right? Like I would see any sort of chart out there on the internet, I would take it and it would be mine. And I would start to go candle by candle and say, why are they looking at these charts? These don't look like the charts in the textbooks, right? The basic diagrams they show you for all the different candlestick patterns, the candlestick Bible. And I think it's that curiosity that helped me understand that what you look at on day one versus what an experienced trader will look at are going to be vastly different. And if you spend a lot of time studying what you think matters versus what the actual professionals do, you're at a great disadvantage. So one of the things that's always helped me with my ability to learn is I reverse engineer. I take something and I simply pull it from a reputable source. I say, who's doing well, who's doing at a high level, and I pick it apart. As simple as that. I pick it apart. I start to ask myself, where does the trade start? Where does the trade end? And you can start to try to extrapolate what is going on. In the beginning, it's very unclear, right? You have no idea what you're looking at. But as time goes on, you do this enough times, you have a routine of picking apart charts. Eventually, you get on charting platforms and you can go on TradingView and do this yourself with every asset. You can find the things that move the most in your market, things that move the least, and start to determine. You're not going to know like what causes it, but you could get a good understanding of what might cause it. So if you can start to extract meaning from this stuff and ultimately filter for what is meaningless, where is edge versus where is there no edge, these are steps that you can take that are actionable that can they will shorten your learning curve to keep it as simple as possible. So it comes down to the fundamentals. We'll get into some charts right here. I want to just talk through some things. If I'm looking at a price chart, any time you look at a chart, if you look too close at anything, it's meaningless. Like there's not much going on here. You have no idea what's going on. So ultimately, what gives something meaning in especially a market like this is what defines it. What is the outer limits of it? Where does it start? Where does it end? Where does it originate from? So it's always good to start to fragment out what's going on. So you have bigger moves, you have little shelves, because when you're first starting, you have no idea what any of this is. And you start to go from the very high level stuff and drill down to the smaller candlesticks, the smaller candlestick formations that you'll see. And you're just trying to connect where your current understanding is to where the market is giving you that level of information. At the end of the day, people make money from looking at charts. There's a handful of tools that you can use, whether that's with volume, whether that's just with different candlestick patterns, whether that's moving averages, whether that's some sort of standard deviation referring to volatility, relative volume, all these different things. You have to figure out how they factor in to your specific approach. I would really look for areas, because when you first start, you're going to know a couple things. You're going to know a trend, After a couple of days, more than likely, you'll know a range. And we know that breakouts will tend to fail. So just start to find those areas that look like that. Start to find something that's familiar. And that's all it is. You find something that's familiar, you document it, and you slowly work towards seeing it after the fact, right? Maybe you notice it after the market does it, and then you just try to close the distance. If you could see something that repeats itself, that tells you on some level, on some time frame, there is edge. Maybe it's on the shortest time frame. Maybe it's only a couple days that edge is present, but maybe it comes back. These things tend to be cyclical. You might have a certain strategy that works really well on a very specific day. By notating it, you have that in your Rolodex. Now, you might not know why that's happening, and it might need to come back a couple times for you to actually have a useful approach to trade that specific setup. But by documenting it, by screenshotting it, by marking it up, you are essentially saying, this is something. I might not know what it is, but it's something. And that's really how you shortcut the process, because a book isn't going to tell you what real market conditions look like. I've never seen a chart in a textbook look as terrible as ES does today, but you start to pick it apart and you say, why is this happening? You can maybe check news. You can maybe see, oh, wow, you have FOMC, you have a rate decision coming up. Like, these things aren't random. The moves aren't random. They have a lot of randomness in them, but contextually, there are reasons for things to kind of go on. So you say, okay, is there a tendency with price to kind of move up or down prior to these news announcements? Or are we looking at just a continuation of what's already set itself up? Like, if we're looking at this as an overall trend, we can see that as you get to the top, you start to reverse. What are the signs from when it goes up to when it goes down, when it goes up, when it goes down? How do you identify these rotations in the market? Those are the questions to ask. Those are the questions that I ask myself. I say, with anything I want to learn, I say, okay, how is it done? Can someone do it? And then ultimately, how do I get closer to that goal? Anyways, long story short, I would say your biggest edge with this is just going to be looking beyond what is just put out in the open and told to you, starting to pick apart what works at the highest level and see how do you connect that to your current level of understanding. Don't walk the same path as everyone else and think you're going to walk it faster. You have to learn how to identify indications that there is a shorter path and make sure that you are filtering out, I would say, just the most common problems in the world. The most common problems in the world are user mistake, the dumb things that we do on the chart. The same way you can learn from people who are doing it at a really high level, look to people who are the common, right? Like the average trader. These are people who are on Twitter, trading memes, Instagram. See how their demeanor is. See the things that they identify with, right? Maybe it's certain jokes about blowing accounts, and really kind of sit there and say, what is the root behavior here? What is the result of that root behavior? And why on earth would I participate in that if it yields that kind of return? Because half the battle is just not losing in stupid ways. So 2 things that I personally have done my entire trading career, and I'm giving them to you for free. This is for you. Use them. Number 1, look at what traders are actually looking at and profiting from. Those exact charts, find their exact entries, take them, screenshot it. It's yours now. Just steal it. And then you journal that. You blow it up. Maybe you get it on your trading view. You find the entry, you mark it out, you mark out the exit, and you should be putting it on as if this is your own trade recap. I entered here. It's this idea of auto-suggestion. You're speaking into existence what essentially wasn't there before. Whatever you want to say. There's a reason why confident people come off as arrogant, and it's because when you are trying to embody a trait, you just do it wholeheartedly. And anyone who doesn't do that you regularly, they think it's something bad. But when you're trying to learn how to trade, you're going to need all the confidence you can get. So just start to embody what it feels like to be successful. Think, okay, this is the type of trade that guy takes. This is the type of routine that guy has. How do I do something like that? Try it on for size. And then the second part to that, look at the losers. Broadly speaking, the losers. What are they doing? Gotcha. Okay, they do all this stupid shit. So how do I avoid the most common problem in the world of being a loser? Just don't do the same things as them. It's reductionist, sure. It doesn't really say much about them as a person because this game is designed for humans to lose. It's designed for us to get slaughtered. We can learn from others' mistakes. It doesn't take away from anybody's progress or whatever. It saves you time. And that's what ultimately, that's going to be your most valuable asset by the end of this. It's been a minute, but we're going to come back with some regularly scheduled content. I'm just going to start telling you what I think. I've said enough about what I think you want to hear, and I'm just going to tell you how I look at this shit. So, till next time, take care, and as always, decipher the algo.